This is your host, Danny, and this is Do You Know from English Plus Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about Los Angeles. Do you want to know about Los Angeles? It's America's second largest city, famous for movies and more. But that's not everything. There is more to talk about this great city. So if you want to learn more about it, join me in this Do You Know episode from English Plus Podcast, and we will talk about Los Angeles. But before we do that, let me remind you that you can become a patron of English Plus Podcast, and by doing that, you will have access to all our premium episodes and to English Plus Magazine, a weekly magazine that includes a variety of topics and will complement what we're doing here in English Plus Podcast. And you can also subscribe to English Plus Podcast channel on Apple Podcasts to have access to all our premium episodes. But if you want to get the magazine, you know where to go. You can become a patron on Patreon, and by doing that, you will be supporting me to continue producing English Plus Podcast episodes and English Plus Magazine. And now, without further ado, let's start talking about Los Angeles. Los Angeles grew as the movie capital of the world. For a long time, more movies were made here than in any other city. Los Angeles is the second largest city in the United States. It has a population of around 4 million people. Only New York City is larger. Los Angeles lies along the Pacific Ocean in Southern California. It sprawls over a large area between the San Gabriel Mountains and the ocean. People depend on cars to get around this large area. As a result, the city suffers from air pollution and traffic jams. Now, what about movies? Obviously, this is the most famous thing in the city, right? Early in the 1900s, the movie industry moved from New York City to Los Angeles. The mild Southern California weather permitted movie making year-round. By the 1930s, companies in Los Angeles produced 400 movies a year. That's more than one movie a day. Most of the movie studios were located in a part of Los Angeles called Hollywood. In 1923, a real estate agency put up a huge sign on a hilltop to advertise the area. The letters of the sign, which spell Hollywood, stand 45 feet or 14 meters tall. The Hollywood sign is a city landmark. Movies are a big business in Los Angeles, but there is a lot more going on than movie making. The city's seaport is one of the busiest in the United States. Los Angeles is a leading producer of aircraft and military equipment. It is also an important banking center. Los Angeles has many museums. The Getty Center is an art museum that offers spectacular views of the city from a hilltop near the Pacific Ocean. Other art museums include the Los Angeles County Museum of Art and the Museum of Contemporary Art. A group of colorful towers rise in an area of the city called Watts. They are made of steel rods and wire decorated with shells and bits of pottery and broken glass. An Italian immigrant built the Watts Towers in his spare time over 30 years. But that's not everything about Los Angeles. Fossils have been found in the heart of Los Angeles. Here, saber-toothed cats, huge mammoths, giants, ground sloths, and other Ice Age animals once roamed. The fossil remains of these animals were buried and preserved in asphalt. Black asphalt, mistakenly called tar, oozed up from the ground to form the La Brea tar pits in central Los Angeles. Scientists think the animals came to drink water that collected on top of the asphalt. While drinking, the animals got trapped in the sticky substance and died. During the 1900s, scientists discovered the fossil bones of the animals. The fossils are now exhibited at the Page Museum of La Brea Discoveries. Los Angeles is also known as the city of many origins. Los Angeles is home to many people from Korea, China, Japan, Vietnam, and other places around the globe. Nearly half of the city's people are Hispanic. Most of the Hispanics are of Mexican ancestry. More Mexicans live in Los Angeles than in any other city except Mexico City, of course. Los Angeles began in 1781 as a Mexican settlement. Its original Spanish name was a mouthful. It was El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora Reina de Los Angeles del Río de Porciúncula. This means the Tower of Our Lady Queen of the Angels of the River Porciúncula. The name was later shortened to Los Angeles, thank God. It means the angels. Today, people shorten the city's name even more to LA. Los Angeles grew dramatically after railroads linked it to the Midwest and Eastern United States. Between 1880 and 1920, the population jumped from 11,000 to 1 million people. In 1970, California became the U.S. state with the largest population. In 1982, Los Angeles surpassed Chicago to become the second largest U.S. city. Los Angeles is still growing today. So, that is to the great city of Los Angeles and to all the good people in Los Angeles who may be listening to the podcast right now. This is dedicated to you. And this is another episode from Do You Know? Today we talked about Los Angeles. I hope you learned something you didn't know about Los Angeles before. This is your host, Danny. Thank you very much for listening. I will see you next time.